I'm Imaobong Akpan. I'm a socio-political analyst and also an advocate for community development. I also run a social enterprise called AIMA's Our Firm. We facilitate philanthropic projects and also corporate social responsibilities. An African girl child practically has to overcome the hurdle of improper or insufficient family care and parental inhibition. Parental inhibition, by that I mean a lot of parents will frown at a girl child expressing herself in a certain way. A girl child is supposed to be groomed in a certain way, and in fact, there are some careers a girl child is not encouraged to pursue. And personally, as a young girl, I initially wanted to study an engineering course, but my father, for example, felt that that career is better for the male folks, and that I may not be very outstanding if I took a career in that. Whereas my result had shown I did very well in technical drawing and in mathematics. So you see, maybe if I was in a developed or some other countries, it's possible my dreams in that regard may have been fulfilled. So, but in Africa here, a whole lot of sometimes negative parental influences that inhibit our growth in many areas of life, and also culture inhibitions. A girl child is in a lot of ways undermined. Her growth is undermined because she's expected to fit into a role already carved out for her. But I'm happy that girls and ladies and women are striving in the 21st century to blast those cultural ceilings and aim way beyond cultural imaginations. So, like you asked, what I think are the reasons why we haven't made tremendous success. I believe we've achieved some milestones. We are not where we used to be maybe 2 decades ago. A lot of women are very outspoken. So many women are thriving in those careers, in those sectors where before now it used to be male dominated. Women are making a whole lot of growth and achievements, and I salute that greatly, but there is a lot more to do. We still have so many challenges. Early girl marriage is still there, discrimination is still is still there a bit, and then some cultural factors and influences that we need to challenge is still very much with us. So there's still a whole lot of work. And secondly, one of the things that I consider is a huge setback is insufficient implementation of the policies we even have on ground, because it's not as if we don't have laws. We have laws in this country. We even have policies in this country. There's Child's Protection Act. There are other laws that protect a girl child, but it is the implementation of the security, from the security agencies to the judiciary officials to the executive arm of government, everyone that should protect the right of a girl child, most sort of are laid back, especially if it is not affecting your own child. But you see a lot of persons who are well positioned in the society, most often their children don't suffer these things, and so there's a possibility of not personalizing the issues that really affect the girl child. So the lack of implementation of policies is also a big issue we have to tackle. A Education is an eye-opener. It's actually a bulb, a lit bulb in the soul of every human. And by education, it's not just limited to academic endeavors. What happens within the four walls of the university, you can be educated even outside the four walls of the university. It's just that the structure of academics, helps us to measure growth. But I advocate for education of all forms, whether the regular we are used to or alternative, but which by all means, everyone should have access to education, to book sources and any other materials that helps you to develop into a better form as a person. So you'll be able to relate well with others in the society and also grow as a person to be fulfilled. As a person, I've always loved books. Books have always been my source of wonder, where you imagine the world without end, you imagine life without end, you have access to picture what life is like for others that are not within your climb, and they also they've helped me, books have helped me to self-develop. And today I'm able to express myself better, because when you have knowledge in a certain field or on a certain thing, it gives you confidence, it boosts your confidence. Education has helped, to boost my self-esteem, and I can stand with anyone, irrespective of where you're from, anywhere you are in the world, to talk to you on anything. That's the power of education. It lets you know that you have capacity to do anything. It opens the window. It shows you that the world is full of possibilities. Education, it gives you that platform to give expression to your innate abilities. And I feel for young persons who do not have access to quality education, and by that I also mean quality books that help introduce them to themselves, because for me the primary thing, especially for girl children, is self-awareness. For every young girl to get to know herself, to be familiar with who she is, because there is strength in self-knowledge. These are the benefits I've had personally, and also the confidence it gives you while you're relating with the rest of the society is priceless. You're not a misfit when you're educated, and then you don't feel strange, you don't feel odd. And so every girl child deserves access to basic education. Every girl child should be empowered with basic knowledge that will give her the right platform to give expression to her abilities, her core, and her purpose. Yes, it's getting better. It is. A lot of young women are waking up. Youth generally are waking up politically, especially in Nigeria, even in Africa at large. So many young persons, after a whole lot of engagement, civic engagement, and trying to give them reasons why they should not leave politics in the hands of the older generation alone. So finally, especially in Nigeria, I've seen a lot of growth in that regard. And then talking about young women, personally, I lead a political group for young women. Young women arise for the candidate I'm supporting. So I use that to mobilize, and I'm seeing a lot of willingness. Being the national coordinator, I've been to different states, and I'm seeing the initiatives young women are taking to be actively involved in politics. So I can say boldly that there's a lot of improvement in that regard. And I also would love to acknowledge a lot of governors, the executive office holders who have given more space in terms of appointments to young women. I applaud them. Some are doing quite well in that regard, and I want to say there's a lot to do. There's a lot more to do. In fact, there is nothing wrong if women are actually more in a cabinet, in a particular governor's cabinet or president's cabinet. There's nothing wrong with that, because if we've always had men dominate, we should get to a point, women should be so active to a point that it should become not an issue for women to be 80% appointees in a particular cabinet in relation to maybe 20% of men. And I also look forward to seeing a female governor, female president. I've seen a female candidate. I think that in Adamawa State, I really would love her to emerge as the governor of the state.
Right. So
yes, my advice. The girl child is a treasure. Every one of us should treat her as such. If the girl child blossoms, everyone benefits, because a healthy girl child grows up to become a healthy lady and a healthy woman. A healthy lady will do so much for the society. A healthy woman will do so much for the family and for the society. And it also helps to make the work and the job and the duties of men easier, because when a girl grows up healthy and whole, and your partner either working with a man on a project, working with a man in the office, or even as a wife to a man or mother to children, when a girl is healthy and wholesome and whole, you can see the society is better for it. Men will not have to start teaching their wives, in quotes, how to carry out a particular task that usually maybe it was a male who were dominating that area of expertise. So things get easier and better. And like we keep saying, train a woman, you're training an entire society. So every one of us should be involved. I actually need more men to be vocal on issues that concern the girl child. She needs to be protected by all men.